I feel like I'm getting the first group. This is awesome. You guys hated yellow. Tell me why. Our culture is so diverse. We're all messy cars in this road.
Yeah. Overall, we're going
It doesn't
forward.
matter how you get there. And that only happens when you live in the present.
It's like, Benita, I'm a workaholic. I am a workaholic.
Just to support.
Hello, I'm Dr. Benita Rathan. I'm a medically qualified doctor and a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of colour. And today we are lucky enough to have Akash from Fable and Mane. I can't believe it. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on
for
our channel.
having me. And how epic is your studio? I'm so excited to be here.
This is our brand new studio.
It's so lovely. And like, you know, you have your book. I'm covering it. There's some awards. You're giving me like gold here. It's amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming down. This is a very impromptu YouTube video.
Which we love. Which we love.
Which we love. And there's so many questions I want to ask as a founder myself, specifically to you. I mean, Akash and Fable and Mane, let me tell you a little bit about them. Not obviously you already know about them, but they actually launched in Sephora day one of their company. Yeah. So can you imagine? I can't actually imagine. You guys were here with me when I launched my company, but we sort of did it very slowly together, using Instagram stories, asking you questions and sort of formulating one thing at a time.
Yeah.
You came in with a bang. You just literally went straight to the top.
Oh, I mean, that's very kind. But no, but it was a crazy experience. Like, I would say it was like a biggest blur, but that's the beauty of all of it. Like your experience, my experience. It's like there's no better kind of just go with the flow, and that was what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any better. Now looking back, I can really appreciate like just how amazing it was.
Yeah.
But hearing yours as well, like I think that's the unique part of it. Is like it's our journey.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have it any other way. You would never go back and change it.
No.
No matter how you started.
Yeah.
But definitely, I got a few grey hairs at the beginning. Because launching in Sephora day one is definitely...
Wow.
It can be a lot of work.
I don't know how you do it.
I was a bit naive and I went into it being like, yeah, let's do it. And then I'm like, there's a reason why most people don't launch their But, you know, no better way than just going in the deep end and going for it, right?
You really did go in the deep end. Like,
good.
these guys know that basically I don't even make a decision on colour of packaging without asking everyone's opinion.
Which is so cool. Which is so... I mean, I wish I had that community. I mean, I do have a community, but you really know how to like build and nurture and value it. Like I feel that's something I'm inspired by you. I get sometimes scared to like go and ask these questions.
Oh, I'm scared. You know what they'll tell me? They will straight away say, no, this is a rubbish idea, Dr. Who. Stop what you're doing. They'll just tell me.
I need to do more of that. It's so true. Because sometimes we get in our heads and we just stay in these meetings and we like kind of like, and then later you launch something and you realize, damn it, like it didn't resonate, and maybe it's because we didn't really think about our community first, and we think we do, but we don't, because
it's hard.
You don't unless you ask.
Yeah, unless you ask. You don't, and honestly, sometimes I put something out and I think I know what the answer is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's the wrong answer.
It's the wrong answer.
I mean, I'll give you an example. I don't know by the time this video comes out, but we are launching our pregnancy range.
Oh, amazing.
And so our pregnancy.
I know that.
Oh,
I feel like I'm getting the first group. This is awesome. That's so cool. You kept that quiet. We were chatting for like 4 or 5 hours and we're realizing, oh my God, it's already dark and we haven't even filmed a video.
I haven't filmed anything.
And that's cool. Love it.
No, but you know the pregnancy range, it's basically like for right now we want anti-aging while you're pregnant. This was never, because we're having babies later on, we're now thinking about fine lines when we're pregnant, and most anti-aging creams basically have vitamin A in them, and you can't use that when you're pregnant. So I thought we have to create something for our pregnant mums, and what do we need to do. But when I put the packaging out, I really assumed I got the wrong colors completely. Like they did not like that. I came up with yellow. I thought yellow was the color. I really thought like new mums. So I put it out. I put out like I think 10 different colors.
Yeah.
Everyone hated my options.
You guys hated yellow? Tell me why.
I think it's too bumblebee.
I don't really like yellow either, to be fair. So
I agree, yellow. They're like, this is like a kiddie.
Is it like a colour of association? Like, is there like a feeling of like when you think of like pregnancy? Or...
I thought so, but they didn't like it. They liked lilac. And it was great. It was 90%. 90% like lilac.
But I can't really, I can't visualize everything called aphantasia. That's a whole other story. Google it. I can't actually physically realize or visualize it. But I think I can imagine lilac being more connected. Colour. This is more warmer, more comforting.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think that's like when I think of pregnant, obviously I can't really experience it, but when I think of pregnancy, I think that kind of lilac colour is more what I would imagine.
Yeah. And I think that's basically what happened, and that's what they told me.
Well,
so that was it.
This is why you need to work and ask
this
your
community.
community.
This is why you basically need like the group telling you what to do. But anyway, enough of me. Back to you. So I have a list of questions, guys. I'm going to keep looking down at my questions. The first one is, Fable and Mane has a distinct story-like brand. How did you curate that? How did you go about creating that aesthetic?
So that is, okay, to be honest, it's a very unique situation because we have my sister. My sister is an absolute genius and she's the creative director of the brand. So aesthetic, visual identity, really should be having her speaking. And I think it's important sometimes to have, like we're going back to like talking to a community and stuff, like there is sometimes a good of having a lot of like opinions and noise, or sometimes just a decision.
Yeah.
There's no real right and wrong. There's just a route. You go down it and that's what it is sometimes. Like, who's to say, like, red is so Fable and Main and you think of red today, but if we launched it yellow, maybe that's what you would be thinking. So Nikki was very sure of her decision in aesthetics, and I just loved what she was doing and I went with it, and I think that was very important. I do think the interesting thing is we didn't do some ways. Sometimes people build brands, they go to an agency or they pay like an agency a significant amount of money and they come up with this whole like taglines and colors. We like jigsaw puzzled it. Wow. So like our tiger was the illustrator behind some of the Gucci logos, and Nikki found him on Instagram. Our logo was built by an agency in the UK. Our leaves were someone else, and we kind of found a way to make him all sing.
Wow.
The power is in the brief, right?
Okay.
And the why, and that goes back to the story. We spent 6 months figuring out our story and our why. The rest can all make sense after. So it's kind of like, I think, like going back to this jigsaw reference, and I'm making this up in real time. Nothing's really profound. It's just me making this up. But in a way, it's like you need to first understand before you start your jigsaw and putting it together. What is the bigger picture? And it might not be ready in front of you because you have to first do the jigsaw later, but you need to know what you're going to build.
Yes.
I think that's what we spent the time doing.
Right.
And then the rest was a little bit easier. But then the identity and that kind of stuff, you need to work with amazing freelancers or amazing talents, and it's like an army, right, of people that come together. But if they all believe their final vision and the why, it can all sing.
That's how you did it.
If they don't, I can't sing.
I think your brief was really important.
Yeah.
I think even when I got on your website and I saw that you made this beautiful video, which it felt like a story.
Was it the animation?
No, it was a story.
Oh, the story.
There's a girl doing her
when you
hair.
scroll and it was a story. Yeah.
And it just looks so aesthetic, so cool. It looked like something out of a movie.
Oh, cool.
But that means that you like to put that together. No one does that. That's not a thing that people put on their websites. That was
I will say,
gorgeous.
we're a beauty brand, and sometimes Nikki does stuff, and then I'm like, we look at the budget and I'm like, why did we do that? But then now it's moments like this that make sense. Sometimes do things that don't make sense to make sense. Our first campaign, which we spent most of our launch budget, was not hair models, was not the typical routes of what maybe a Sephora and everyone wanted. It was an animation video. We invested in an IP of a character. We had one day a dream to make a Disney film that was actually based on India, and like a tiger in the limelight, not like Shere Khan is negative, like a positive. We had all this thing.
Wow.
That's not the way you typically would create a beauty hair care brand, but that's what we wanted. And till this day, some people say that's what they remember the most. Not the first model shoot we did, it was that animation.
Interesting.
So actually, sometimes you've got to invest in these areas that make you different.
Yes.
And what also you want to do.
Yes.
Because it comes from a deeper place. Where people can feel it.
That's what they say, is you want to sound different to what everybody else is hearing.
Yeah.
But how do you do that in a way that still resonates with people? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's the way you do it, is like, if it resonates with you and you are truly authentic in the brand's DNA, it will resonate with others.
Got it.
Because you can't ever build it to resonate, because then you're going to be unauthentic.
Exactly.
You've got to first do it for you.
For you.
And then no matter what, it will come across that way.
Yeah.
Because people can connect to that.
Yeah.
I think so.
I agree.
So I think that's the way to do it, is think of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
what
so
we've always done. And sometimes we lost our way a bit. When you build your team, when you have different opinions, or you build retailers and you have different opinions, you start losing yourself.
Yeah.
It was third year in, like the last year and a half, we lost ourselves, and we've had to, less is more, just me and Nikki again, and go back to the roots.
Yes.
And then you find magic there again.
So how are you doing things differently now than you were doing a year ago?
I tend to limit the amount of voices in the room sometimes, and go back to what we want to do, and again go back to, there's no right and wrong. Sometimes we go in meetings, we think what's right, what's wrong, what's the right direction. Every direction, if you choose to see it, has the right outcome.
Okay.
And there will be some negatives to every direction. You just got to feel authentically true to yourself.
Okay.
So as a founder-led brand, we have the founder-led mission at our heart, and we have to do everything to that.
Okay.
And whenever we look back at what we are not proud of in Fable and Main, it's when we weren't in control, or we weren't in that kind of decision. And that custodian doesn't have to be me and Nikki today. Yeah. It could be our team tomorrow. It could be whoever.
Okay.
But it goes back to our why.
Right.
For us, it's not me and Nikki's ego or opinion there. It's more me and Nikki trying to remember that we're here because of our culture, our heritage, our why is the wild, our stories, our grandma's oiling her hair. So that's what we have to always remember.
Yeah.
So yes, we might have, like, a perfect example of a campaign that worked really well is you have your retailers telling you we need diversity of hair types and different types of models, and it becomes that kind of like checkbox approach, right? And you get the typical beautiful assets, and you get the typical model assets of a ginger red head, a black hair, blonde hair, and then it becomes like, oh, I've seen it before. What we did, we were like, well, what's the Fable and Main way? All right, the Fable and Main way, one of the main reasons why we wanted to exist is our culture wasn't shown. I never saw brown faces on billboards growing up. So we're going to do an all brown cast, but when you think of our culture, I mean, I look at my mum, she's got blonde hair. Like, we have diversity of hair types in it. So what we'll do is we'll have a very diverse hair type. When you turn around, you think of diversity, but when they turn this way to the models, to the camera, they're all Indian, they're all Asian. Our culture is so diverse, and yet the whole world can connect to our culture. It doesn't have to be the traditional way, and it can still be the Fable and Main way. So it goes back to, like, kind of sometimes going against the grain and remembering you can do it if you choose to see it.
Do you know, I love that, actually. Oh, God. So basically, my dad always says to me, Vanita, stick with the science for me, because everything's scientific. So it's, you're a doctor, you're a cosmetic formulator, stick to the science. Don't worry about what the people are doing, how they're doing it. And sometimes I even get swept away by what other people are doing and thinking, oh, I should be doing that and I should be doing that. And actually, he always says, stick to the science, stick to the science, stick to the science. That's why people are following you. That's why they listen to you. Don't ever veer away from it, and don't even look at what other people are doing. You just focus on what you're doing and do it in that way. It's just so funny, just like my dad.
And let me tell you, like, what I'm saying, and I'm one of those that, like, will say a bunch of, like, perfect words and then I'll go tomorrow and not do it. We'll be the same. Like, we're human. We're going to, like, not listen to ourselves, and we're easy to give advice, not take advice. And that's why I'm going to make it very clear. Like, I'm not this preacher. I also, like, don't listen to my words. But it's about just reminding ourselves and constantly, like, giving yourself grace in the fact that we're okay to veer off. We're okay to change our minds and be contradictory. We're human. We're not perfect. But if we're reminding, going back on track.
Going back on track. Okay. That's what my dad basically does. You know, if I do too many singing and dancing reels and too many... he's like,
you do it.
He's like, Vanita...
Just do what you want to do. We're all messy cars in this road, and we're gonna have breakdowns. We're gonna have things to face. We're gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to go back and forth. But we're going forward.
Overall, we're going forward.
It doesn't matter how you get there, as long
how
as
many
you get
breakdowns
there.
we have on route.
Because when you get there, you're not gonna remember.
You're right.
The full journey. You're just gonna be like, I'm
the
here
highlights.
Now. And that only happens when you live in the present. If you don't live in the present, yes, you'll get there and you'll regret everything. You'll be in fear. You'll be blaming your old actions. But if you live in the present, the journey is the fact that won't really affect you as deep, you know, how you did it and what you did, because you're going to give yourself a lot of grace if you live in the present.
I agree.
That's why I think it's very important.
I agree. Let me ask you the next question. Okay. Oh, okay. So you've had prior experience in the beauty industry. How did that help you shape Fable and Main?
So there's two sides. There's ways where I had to unlearn what I learned and ways where I had to use what I knew. And both were very important part of the story, because I worked for Estée Lauder first and for a brand called Aveda, which was also a haircare Ayurvedic brand. And I worked for Dior in LVMH. And that was my main career for like 3 years in Paris, in the head office. And these are conglomerate brands. So I kind of knew what I didn't like to see that were in conglomerate brands. When I say conglomerate, we can dissect that to more like just bigger organizations. The more bigger you get, and this is just statistically the route that will always happen, the slower the processes can be, the more eyeballs that get like rolled around and opinions and politics, the more like messy sometimes processes can take, and you know, and sometimes mistakes can be made, the more pressure there can be. So there's a lot that I saw was wrong with that. So I always thought, like, sometimes we call it agility, sometimes we call it whatever, but like, how do I avoid that in my company? Because that's not necessarily productive. That's just part of the...
It's like red tape.
You can avoid it. And there's ways to be done. And I think that's something I wanted to bring into my new company, of avoiding what I saw that I didn't like in these big companies, and never where I want to get to be. So always like, how do I build a small, agile, but strong and mighty team was what I like to do. I don't want to hire thousands of people if I don't need to. Less is more is always my kind of like philosophy. So that was one thing. Then obviously like the skill sets I learned was, I planned my goal long term would be creating my own thing. So I was a curious beaver. I don't even know if that's a saying. Curious beaver. And I was like that kind of like bartering with my skill knowledge. I was like going to random people, probably fed up with me at Dior, like this little 25, 24-year-old kid going like, hello, so I do social media and influencers, Mr. CFO. Can we have a lunch and I'll tell you about influencers if you want and you tell me about finance?
Yeah.
And that's all I had to barter with.
Did it work?
And sometimes they were like, oh my God, I'd love to learn more. Sometimes like, I'm happy to tell you, but I'm not interested. And I'm like, great, doesn't matter, as long as I can meet you. And I would just be so curious because I was like, one day I will need to learn about CF, being a finance person, being a lawyer, being into a creative team. Like I had to learn all of it. And sometimes like these companies don't let you go out of those zones, but you can still navigate that company and have access to those people and go for coffees and lunches if you choose to do it. So I was like, friends with everyone.
That's clever.
And learning from everyone. And even like it was so useful because when I created my brand, I would sometimes like ask some of them to like do Zoom calls with my team. Like a guy called Olivier did a Google Analytics course for my whole team for free, and so nice of him because I had a friendship with him. And I said, when I build my own company, can you teach my team what you know for an hour and me? So these relationships can really continue. I also have now hired quite a few of my old colleagues because they saw I connected with them in my previous life, so they wanted to come into this organization. Whereas, how often do we say, "Oh yeah, I worked with them, but I didn't actually cross paths." Sometimes your roommates will never let you cross paths. You need to go.
You need to go make it happen.
So that was important.
I love that.
And I think I had to unlearn some of the negatives I saw in these organizations. I had to learn and take what I kind of put the effort in, and also I had to leverage my skill set. So like. Obviously being like influencer first and social media, we built Fable with that in mind first because that was my biggest asset. So you leverage what your assets are.
How did you go from engineering to beauty?
Okay, fun fact. I'm a bit obsessed with my dad. Clearly.
Have you seen him on Instagram? He's the uncle.
Don't say this to him. We're not going to show this video to my dad. But my dad is like my biggest inspiration in life. My mum too. My sister too. Love you guys. Love you. But
Dad first.
Career-wise, work-wise, I say them. No fights later at home. Dad is the guy, and he was an engineer by trade, electrical electronic like me, and then he failed or something, and then went to beauty. I failed my second year. I did go back and graduate. So I had that up from my dad, and I went into beauty. So I literally copied his life. So I think having him as a mentor and an inspiration, like it was a comforting factor. Also, I think not knowing who I was after when I failed my second year, I just realized I was very blessed. At that time, it was the worst thing that happened when you fail second year uni and like you don't know what to do. But actually, looking back, I would never change it because it was a moment in my life where I realized, do what makes you happy, do what makes you you're passionate about. When you're in the system of school where you're just like are good at something, I was good at math and physics, and you kind of like realize you wake up and you're like, how have I got here? Maybe it was my teachers, maybe it was my family, maybe it was my friends, but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it for a CV. I was doing it for what optically looked good, but maybe I didn't love this. So I had to like put all ego aside, all that I've like kind of built in 21 years at that time. And I looked at Dad and I did say like, I need your help. And you sometimes have to look around and ask your friends, family, strangers, like DM me even. Like, and people may surprise you. Like, we're always here to help people because we might have been through something similar. And maybe I got an internship like in my failed year, and I worked at Burberry for 6 months thanks to my dad. And that's when I fell in love with marketing and beauty and fashion. And I thought, all right, this I could do. So I graduated and I said, I'm going to do what I enjoy. I was an unpaid intern at Estée Lauder, like not even like a salary that is even probably allowed. And all my friends were on 6-figure salaries. But I had so much pride in myself that I was good. I was good. And if I was passionate, I would have success. Within 3 to 6 months, I became the youngest ever manager at Estée Lauder globally at 21.
21?
Doesn't mean I was paid very well, but that's another story. I mean, at that time I was like, 20-something K, woohoo! But it doesn't matter. 21, it was great. And then I went to Dior as the youngest manager. And again, like I had all these successes because I had no experience, I had no beauty experience, but I had passion. And I loved it. So I think that's my advice to anyone is like engineering to beauty, this to that. Now for me, for beauty to conservation and wildlife, which is going to be my future, like it doesn't matter. As long as you are excited, you are hungry, and you believe in yourself, you'll figure it out. And luckily today, more than ever than before, there's so many tools. You can even probably just talk to AI now and ChatGPT, and it'll teach you everything you need to know. I didn't have that 5 years ago.
ChatGPT is another level.
There's so many assets and things we can have kind of access to now. That now I think anyone can chase their dreams.
Yeah.
And everyone has the right to change their dreams.
Yes.
And just, move on.
I think most of us attach our identity to the dream that we've had for so long.
And we think, we need to sustain here. Yeah. And we're stuck to this. And
and people are going to think you're crazy if you're like
what
moving.
You want to do. And you need to make money. You need to do, this is a luxury as well, just to say I can do what I want to do. But once you found that place of stability in your life, you could be born into it or you might need to work really hard for it. Yeah. This is the reality of life. You will find none of that brings happiness and pure wealth than just doing what you enjoy. Yeah. And that you can do at any point, really. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's something I would just encourage everyone. Like, if you are like right now, like watching this and you're like not that happy with your work or what you're doing, but you want to, give yourself grace, you'll get there. But you might need to do some actions to get there. You might need to not listen to the person next to you. You might need to put your ego aside.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for me to sit in tables with my friends and they would jokingly laugh saying, "Oh, he's social media, he's TikTok," and then they were doing, in their mind, real high tech 6-figure salary jobs. I had to get out of that mind and be I obviously felt the way at that time. I felt embarrassed at the time. But then it took time to realize it's embarrassing them. It's actually embarrassing that they said that.
Did you stop talking to those people? Do you No, you don't. Do you keep distance?
I never in my life cut anyone off.
Okay.
Because it's always a gift. Someone being rude to me, someone not respecting. You got to always look at yourself of how you take that. Okay. And that's inner work I got to do.
Do you not give feedback and say that's a bit helpful?
No, I feel like if I really care about them, I'll want to, my sister, we work on each other and I'll give her feedback out of love, but I'll never give feedback unless it's warranted. I invite the feedback in and I will always share my story. She can then take what she wants. I'll never ever tell anyone what to do because they'll never listen. Yeah. And also it's not fair unless they've asked you. Okay. So I don't think feedback is healthy unless it's asked. Yeah. But I do say...
my husband gives me lots of feedback.
I think sometimes you should say, listen, I would like to invite that in. Because it doesn't actually come across. I think sharing stories is another form of feedback without coming across as feedback. Yeah, that's true. But I do think I see so much joy in also those people in my life that necessarily question me or put me down, and then I have to always say maybe it's my assumption of their reasons of why they're doing it. It's not the reality, but maybe it's a inner work I got to do.
It might also be their upbringing in terms of what they think
their projections,
is acceptable.
Their this, and you've got to feed it with kindness. But the best way is not usually words but actions. Yeah. All my friends after don't think that way because they saw the joy and even the success that I had after. So actions spoke louder than words, and I didn't have to waste my time avoiding them or telling them. I just had to digest it in a different way, use it to make me more excited to grow. Yeah. And then, but I never did it to be look at me now. Okay. That's ego. Yeah. Put that aside. You just do it for you.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Do you know what I mean?
Gosh,
but this is me now. 5 years ago, I won't be saying that. I've done a lot of work to get to this point. A lot of therapy and conversations to get to this point, and it's important.
I know. The next one is Fable & Mane is part of a growing movement to bring South Asian beauty and South Asian traditions to the mainstream. What do you see the future of this being in the next 5 years?
So I feel I don't know, and that's an exciting thing. I know we're just going to be doing more. I wouldn't say we're just getting started anymore. I think we're already starting, and we're doing it in a big way. I'm right now, I don't know when this will be released, but it's Diwali season, and I'm exhausted. And I never thought I'd be exhausted in Diwali season because that just shows there's so many parties, so many things happening, so many events. It's amazing. Our culture is truly being celebrated. Yeah. And recently, I was at this I was at Advertising Week, and my friend Minnie Mills, she said something so profound that I loved. It was I'm sick of us doing it to ourselves, but the industry taking people of color or minorities, and always attaching a story of struggle and hope and we deserve this or we need to do this. We are able to exist and just be without the sense of yes, oh yes, amazing. Yeah. Why is it always from a struggle? Yeah. Why is it from a place of... So now it's enough of that. We're not talking about struggle. We're not talking about X. We're just existing. And we're celebrating. And we're doing great things. And that's why I'm excited. So I think that's where we're going to get. We're not going to go anymore from a place of X. We're going to go from we're here and where we're going to go. So that's going to be the next 5 years.
Agreed.
And now how? Who knows? But I can tell you one thing. South Asians are everywhere and I'm so proud of us. We're in space. We're in here. We're in
there's so many
shampoo
of us.
bottles. Not really, not
We're on the
physically.
shampoo bottle.
We're doing it all. And also many other people in their own cultures are doing it. So it's a great time to be alive.
It is
really
a really great time, honestly.
I'm happy.
Yeah,
really
me too. Yeah. Okay, the next question is, so Fable and Main has a strong digital media presence. What is your social media strategy?
Really honestly speaking, it's an absolute mess. We have no social media manager. Me and Nikki are validating the posts every day. We decide last minute. We have days where we do posts 3 times a week, and then we do days where we do once a month. It is, and you can go on, and optically you might think it's good. When you start analysing our dates we post and everything, you realise, it's a bit messy. But maybe that's the strategy. Maybe it's just let it be.
Let it be natural.
The days of planning and overthinking it and planning a grid. It's actually the magic of us right now. So I think doesn't mean it's not stressful, but just go with it. Let social media be. Think of it like how we do our personal channels. When you're not feeling good, I don't want to post. If Fable is not feeling good, it's okay to not post. I want to humanize the brand aspect of social media because people don't like to follow brands. So they need to feel a sense of authenticity. And it's very important. I liken this to celebrities, and brands need to do the same thing. All the biggest celebrities, and it's because they're building and they are in the studio and writing the next album or they're working on the next film, but you'll never see Ariana Grande be #1 every single week. You'll never see this actor be in every single film. You need waves. You need moments of burrowing. You stay in, you stay out. Brands have this obsession sometimes of always being on top. It's absolutely okay, and it's better to have moments where you're quiet. You're not going viral every day. You're not on social media every day. And I think that's healthier because otherwise people will start getting sick of you. People will start getting fed up.
I do video every day. Are you getting sick of me? Because be honest. I do that. I'm a workaholic. I am a workaholic.
You don't. The difference is you can be present every day. You can exist every day, but you're probably not expecting every video to be millions of views. You might want to.
No, not millions.
It's healthy to just exist and let it be. And I think that's the thing. So brands need to do more action work because I think the strategy from marketers is we need to be growing. And retailers and everyone will be you need to be growing. It's absolutely okay if you go 3 ranks less and then go 5 ranks up. You don't want to be going ranks down every time. But I have to remind my team, because the industry tells you otherwise, relax. And I tell one thing I love is learn from your mistakes, grow and find them. So when I was at Dior, I used to always put in my presentations the bad I did. And my CEO, I think he really connects with me because I think he liked that. I was thinking from his angle, he wants to see what I can do better, not what I did great. Because if everyone's going around the room and everyone's this is amazing. After a while you're all right, cool, next. It's all looking good, but it's boring. You need to be doing inner work to show what you can do better. 100%. So I tell my team, don't be afraid to tell me what you did wrong.
Tell me the failures.
I love it. And that means we can only go upwards.
Yes, agreed.
So that's also another side story, which is important as well, is you need to champion those moments where you're not doing great.
So on social media, at any one time, how many people are talking about Fable and Main? Would you know that?
It smells literally like a mango, banana, coconut cream pie.
I've actually been able to master this look with Fable and Main.
This is a pre-wash hair oil by Fable and Main.
Hair oiling. What is it and why should you do it? Just keep watching.
Yeah, I would know. I would say we're starting to get I can see some numbers, but maybe well, definitely now I can feel it. The brand is growing. We used to start with 1 mention a day on TikTok or 2. Now we get 50 plus videos a day mentioning us, or sometimes 100.
That's amazing.
Tags, I do this because every day I go on Fable and Main tags. I'm a bit obsessed with the brand. I wake up, I go on Google search 24 hours. I go on, I have all the logins. I think it's very important for the founder to have the logins.
100%.
Don't have to be just live and feel what's happening, what people are talking. I read the DMs and I unread them. The team can do all that stuff. I don't want to micromanage, but I need to just feel it.
You need to know.
So I can already feel I go on and I like all our tag posts, and now I'm oh, there's a few happening every day, which is so exciting. Instagram and TikTok both.
So 100 each, would you say?
No, that's maybe on a good day. Now 20, 30, like videos a day, which is
that's
so
a lot.
exciting. We're not like the rare beauties and the big brands that are doing thousands or hundreds, but I love that's 20. I don't have time to see 100 videos. I'm glad having just 20. I watch all of them. I get so excited seeing them. You know what's really amazing, which is so like emotionally cool, is like you like it, and sometimes people will like share to their story that
you liked it.
And I'm like, well, hey, thank you for like giving me love for liking it, but I should have liked it because you went up the effort to talk about my brand. And I'm so grateful. I wish I could do more than just a like. Like it's
Agreed.
so nice. So like whenever anyone like posts, like just know I do see everything, and I'm so grateful for every single video. I know how much work it takes, and like there is a difference between paying and we have like paid posts, but I'm talking more than organic ones. It's like so
it's a
cool.
dream, isn't it? It's like,
So
guys,
cool.
when you ever do any videos, even of like my products, like anything, I see everything, and like it goes straight to your heart. It's like that is the why.
That's the why.
That is the why. That is the whole reason we do
it's
this.
so true. It's so true.
Like it does. It means everything.
It's really true. It's really true.
God, that's actually amazing. So these people, they're like your user generated content. These are people who are just not your followers. They buy your product and then they just post about
fans of the
hauls
brand.
and
It could be like upcoming creators. It could be already quite established, like top influencers that's just sharing love, or you just like in a routine or something. There is like a balance when there's like incorporated products and there's like actual like dedicated favorite videos. We get a lot more on the incorporated side than the dedicated because I mean we're not big enough like that. But like it's cool to see like. And
you repost them, or would you do that?
Yeah, we do a mix. We repost some, we community engage with some. Again, it's all a bit of a mess. We don't really have a social media strategy. Let's say hopefully in 6 months we'll have a bit more. My sister will not like me saying that, but like I think it's honest. Like that's just my whole point. Is I'm being honest. Like we do things. We're a family, founder-led brand.
We're making up as we go along, almost like we're trying to figure it out.
We're no board and no investors. It's just us doing it. So it's like a real humanized brand. And we're not doing everything perfect, but it's not wrong. Because there's no such thing as wrong.
I'm definitely not doing everything perfect. There's so much room for improvement for
me. And when I say perfect, because then you're like, well, then that's counterintuitive, because he's like, what's the difference between perfect and right? My thing is like perfect meaning there's always room to like grow and look inwards, but that's still right. You know what I mean? Right and wrong is different.
Perfect and perfect. I completely agree. Okay, so my next one is, you have a strong presence with UK influencers. It's pretty much every UK influencer talks about Fable and Mane that I follow.
For all of my girlfriends that are looking for a lightweight detangling spray, you have to try out the Fable and Mane Maha Mane Detangling Leave-In Conditioner.
Finishing with a touch in dry hair to seal the style, adding high shine with a potent blend of 6 fruit oils and a beautifully warm, lasting fragrance.
Is this the same for you for every continent? Because you're now, they started off in the US, they're in the UK, you're in Middle East now.
Middle East, Europe, India. India was one of our first, and then like Canada.
So do you have the same kind of tribes everywhere, like these influencer
And the
tribes?
reason why, it's growing everywhere. It's probably me, and probably it's not everyone can do it. It's quite tiring, but like I have to like either when COVID, I was Zooming our influencers. I learned this from a few founders, like get on a Zoom. Don't just like these are people that are championing our brand, but also friends of the brand, but also talking about the brand, and also maybe monetary incentivizing the brand. There's a lot of different variations, but I want to make sure it's authentic. I don't want anyone posting without them genuinely loving the products, genuinely knowing them. It's my rule book, and I'm a bit annoying, but I need to be friends with you guys first. And friends is a big word. I know, like everyone just puts that word out there, but generally, I want to enjoy hanging out with these people. So I do a lot of like community events, coffees, and meet everyone. So a lot of
actually meet all your like influencers.
But I also like do it to where it's sustainable. So I kind of do it in a way that I enjoy. So like we'll do like I go to Canada.
You do dinner for everyone. Like
I do more. See, that's the thing. I get bored of dinner, so I do more meaningful ways of connecting. So it'll be escape rooms, it'll be activities, painting, fun things. Because then I'm like killing so many birds with one stone. I'm having fun. We're connecting deeper. And then we can have a meal after. But there has to be an activity.
Amazing.
There has to be something I want to do.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
So when you expanded to the Middle East, how did you did you have to change your branding or your story or marketing strategy in order to get into a new area? And also, how did you find those influencers and then reach out to them, and who were going to be right for your brand?
So, I mean, I'll be honest, like a lot of the regions we've launched in, I've had a lot of privilege of being able to travel there a lot growing up. So like I grew up going to Dubai, and I grew up going to Europe, India, obviously. And so I kind of already understood what's needed in these regions. And always you've got to think about a localized approach, right? Now, I don't like necessarily the idea of like changing, it's more adding. Because sometimes like you need to like build.
Okay.
So like when I go to these regions, I want to keep that core of what we are, but I build or I adapt to like the local nuance, but it's still Fable and Main.
Okay.
Because that's building this globalization, I think is very important. So like, you know, sometimes it might be easier to like keep everything like it might be easier to like change something to like sell to that market. You know, that's the trend or whatever, but sometimes it's better to stand out by being who you are. But then you have to be respectful. You got to be, you know, things like languages, things like sensitivities culturally, things like relevancy, like, okay, the model should be someone that can relate to. Like, those are things you have to adapt, right? So yes, maybe change, adapt is the same word. You have to a little bit, but it's not in the sense of like going completely backwards. It's like really like just like swerving.
Okay.
So, and then it's easier, and then also that's why there's a small company. You don't feel so overwhelmed because your concepts can be globally played. So I always say like there are South Asians around the world, so we'll definitely talk to people there. There are people around the world that want to have wellness in mind, people that want to have their culture celebrated. So the brand can speak in a lot of places. So that's what we did. For Middle East specifically, I kind of did think about, you know, languages is important, having influencers that can really connect with local areas, because you have differences. We're in 5 countries so we're in UAE, and also within UAE there's a lot of nuances of the difference between Abu Dhabi and Dubai, for example. You also have like
what's the nuances? What they do?
Just different like you have different populations, different kind of retail environments, different influencers that are more relevant known. So a Dubai influencer might not work in Abu Dhabi. So you have to work with different local, you have the difference between like expats to the Emiratis. Like, so there's a lot to consider and you have to learn. You then have the difference also in the other regions and countries like Saudi, we're in Oman now, we're in Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain. So we have different approaches in each different place. And I personally have gone and visited and done masterclasses and connected, because a lot of people make the mistake, they go to the Middle East and they just go to Dubai. And then that's not good. You've got to go to all the different regions and speak and meet the different influencers and understand the local nuances. It's very much connected, but there are differences. It's like going to India and having different different states. You have different languages even that you speak.
So how did you reach out to these different influencers?
So we really worked with our partner. Like you can't do it all alone. So Sephora Middle East has been the best dream partner we could have imagined. I'm friends with all of our team internally. Like it's like such a bloodline, because they're like such an extension of like my family. And like then you just like hold hands. Like there are people that know the market more than you. You got to rely on that. So consultants and and also like Middle East especially, people are so incredibly friendly and supportive. Like we've had like, I remember first there was one of our friends, she was like, oh, I'm going to host a dinner for you and invite everyone and I'll cover it all. And I was like, wait, most regions we pay an influencer to host and we pay the venue to have the dinner, and this one she's paying the food and she's hosting it as an influencer and posting it and all her friends just to support. So like it was like incredible.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, her name's Omara. Like she's still like one of our closest. And like, it's just so nice to see that. So
is that what they're like? Is that the hospitality?
I just think this is what I feel with Middle East. Like that's why my parents have moved to Dubai, my sisters and like there's something I really feel close to this to the people. So you never know, you'll be surprised. So like I remember like when I was at Duo, I spent a lot of time in Korea, South Korea, Japan and China, and like the love I felt like from all the regions, especially South Korea. I still go back there and I'm like you have the same I feel when people go to India. You go to their home, like you feel every culture celebrates you, and that's a beautiful part of it in business as well. You have different experiences. Everyone can relate to that. Like when you travel, you have a different working environment.
Very true. Very true.
So like you got to like
you actually make friendships when you do business abroad.
Don't be surprised
by
that.
Friends.
Exactly. It's so cool. It's so cool.
It is so cool.
So Middle East, honestly, I would say, just to answer that question, like we do well there because the people have allowed us and helped us be well there. You know what I mean?
Good, yeah.
We're not alone in it.
No.
We're not figuring it out.
Yeah,
They've helped us figure
they've
it
helped
out.
you figure it
Yeah.
out. So the next one is, how do you manage manufacturing and distribution of a global brand versus just serving in the UK because your headquarters are in the UK?
COVID was a perfect example. We launched in COVID, so like we had no other way but like be remote. Even if we were in US where our manufacturing is, we were still being at home. So being at home or London doesn't matter. So agility was our like day one code of conduct. Like we had to figure it out. I think it's about empowering systems everywhere. Like obviously, like it is easier having someone on the ground. So hiring talents of the relevant nature, like product development near the labs is important. Like we empower, and delegation is key for that, and trust and sprinkling in-person moments is critical to build that connection. So I do invest in our team to like travel and meet a lot. We do town halls. I go visit our partners because then you really build that in person. But you don't need to like have it every day.
Okay.
You can have it like once in a couple of months, and then that's enough to sustain a good virtual relationship and trust. So I think it's a hybrid nature.
Okay.
But I think that's the beauty of like you can do what you want and not sacrifice life.
Okay.
If you want to live in Iceland and you just love the place, but you know that your business is in Australia and it makes no sense, you will figure it out and you can do it.
Yeah.
That's my rule.
Yeah.
So like I don't ever feel bounded or claustrophobic by this brand because I might be, now I'm all about wildlife and I might want to like spend 6 months in India and in East Africa. And I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I'll still be a CEO of the company and run it effectively.
Yeah.
And
you're so good at that. I wish I was good at that.
I built the system from day one to
You're a systems guy.
I'm a systems guy.
I think because you're an engineer. See, I'm not. I'm like, I think I'm
also, you could be a bit delusional. I'm a bit delusional. you gotta sometimes be like,
no, I wish I was like that system.
We'll figure it out. Don't overthink it. Build the systems, but the systems fail. I'm obsessed with escape rooms. Like I've done escape rooms. Like
Are you really good at it?
I've done over 300.
Oh no way!
Like I go on my own. I'm not.
You go on your own.
Like when I was in Saudi, I was a bit lonely and bored. I went to escape on my own, and it was like a horror one. And the guy was like, "Well,
you might never have got out."
No, he was also like, "We've only done it for like 2 people max." And I was like, "I'll pay for 2. I'll pay for 3. It doesn't matter." And they had to call other people, and then I started in like this dungeon, and they were like, "You're a psychotic." And I'm like, no, I like solving things so much, and I'm not going to wait around for my friends who are not even there. They don't even want to do it. My friends in London, I just do my. But the point is,
you come and solve my problems for me.
I love solving problems. So even if your systems fail, we fix it.
I love it.
And the funny thing is, I'm the worst engineer, but I'm a really good like in practicality. Like from an electrical engineering, but I'm actually a great engineer in business. Does that make sense?
And that's kind of all you really need, isn't it?
So I think we should make a new remit calling it business engineer.
That must be a thing.
That's a good
Is that not a thing?
No, but that's
you
what
just
we
thought we'd do you did a Harvard course or something like that. Oh gosh, you're starting a new Harvard course. Sign up now.
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be good. Oh, I just do my Instagram.
I would actually go. I learned so much from him. Today I've learned so much. I can't even explain.
Really? Yeah. Good. I've learned so much too, but I think it's so good that to hear people that have like felt that. Sometimes I say it and people are just like, I don't know if they listen, and I don't want them to listen, but I just don't know if it helps, you know, my
followers will tell you, and they're going to go see in the comment section, they've all said, Dr. C, can you get into Sephora? Can you just get into Sephora for us? And for me, you know how hard it's been, and I've like been kicking and screaming this whole time, just like online. And I've had a really amazing chat with Akash today, which is basically just told me what to do.
And my thing is, you will get there and you will do it, but if you don't want to, after doing all the work, it's okay. And I think it's reminding like, you will do what you want. You might need some help. You might need some patience. You might need some funds. There's so many ways, but if you want to do something, we'll all do it in life. But sometimes we realize later, do we actually want that? And I think that's my main thing is like chase it, but don't let it chase you.
Yeah,
you know?
Agreed. Because it does. I think even trying to do something like this is so difficult. You have to get all your ducks in order. It takes a huge amount of time and actually...
And then you'll get there and then you'll be like, what now? And what? And is this what I want? Like I'm in Sephora for 5 years. Like love working with them. No hate, no tea. But like if tomorrow Sephora got rid of us, I'll be okay. Because ultimately you can't... I see this a lot in beauty. People just say the word Sephora a lot to me. And I always like get nervous. I'm like, but you are... like Fable and Main, you're not Sephora. And I think Sephora wants that. Sephora is saying, stop being obsessed with us. We need you to build your brand, not we build you, because that's not sustainable.
Agreed.
So I'm also like helping Sephora there by saying, don't
merge
chase
the brands.
Sephora, chase your own success, and Sephora might be one of those conduits.
Right.
But sometimes it takes you chasing something like a vanity metric or a title or a goal. And I still do this. I still have, like, for my fund, goals and numbers. And then you get there, and then you have to figure out the real work. Right? So that's what I'm saying. It's healthy to have these goals. Be narrow-minded to, like, this is the retailer and this is what I got to do. That's okay. No one should just judge that. But just remember, you're not doing it for that. You're doing it for a deeper reason.
Yeah, I'm doing it because these guys want me.
Exactly. And exactly that. But also you want it.
I think it'd be really good. I think it just increases accessibility.
Yeah.
Especially for
exactly
people
that. You're putting people, but you say this is perfect. You're putting people first, and that's why I love it. You know.
Yeah.
So
well, fingers crossed. Let's do all the finger crossing. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions because I know he has to leave, and he's been with me for like hours.
I can stay here for more.
I'm going to ask you 1 question from here because I've got quite a few.
Okay.
What was your aha moment that made you realize your brand was going to be successful?
Oh. It was honestly, it's as simple as the name. I'm obsessed with our name.
I love your name.
Because the name has a story, which I don't know if everyone knows, but it's because growing up, my grandma used to, like my nanny used to massage her hair with Ayurvedic oils and jumping massage. And while she would massage, she would read us stories, so Akbar Birbal and all these like animal stories and sometimes comics. So for me, my biggest fondest memories of my grandparents were oiling and story time. So story and hair, fable and mane. But my goal growing up was always to create a wildlife fund. So the mane is the element of the big cats and the tiger is the logo. So it's got that. But also this name came, unfortunately, when both my grandparents passed away that same year in 2018. So it was stemmed from a true memory. And like, I love my parents, but I love my grandparents sometimes even more because you know the connection you had is so deep. So that was where like it came from such a truth. So my sisters want to put that together. So I'm more saying it as like a fan of the brand's name too. She is a creative genius. I was just like, oh my God, that's like something deep within. So the aha was just already in the name.
Wow.
If it was a hair oil, if it was, I don't know, anything, I wouldn't really mind because I was so obsessed with the name. Because it had a legacy of my grandparents that no matter what, they will be immortalized in life through the name. To me, maybe not someone else, but to me, that's that.
That is honestly that. Oh my God!
So what better way to like
right.
you know like honor her?
Yeah.
And it's my personal story. And I say that, and everyone's like, oh, and I love the fact that no one ever knows that. Because it's not meant to be known, but it's meant if you do want to know.
Feel it.
You feel it.
Yeah, I think you do feel it. It actually gives you goosebumps.
And the name is cool. Like,
it was really
it's
cool
a
name.
Yeah,
it was such a fun name.
I'm a fan of it. I wear all of the good merch.
I love this. I need some like merch.
Yeah, I wear my brand. I love it. Not to promote it, but just because
I love it.
It's a better name than, I shouldn't say that, Dior or whatever. Like, I'd rather wear that. But, but it is. And cheaper.
Oh, thank you so much, Akash, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We're so honored to have you, honestly.
I loved every single moment of our conversation. I want to just say, like, personally, like, not from this conversation, but like from the 4 hours behind closed doors, you are exactly this. Like, behind closed doors and even more. And I just want to say, like, I understand why your community has been with you for so long, but like I also am kind of like sad that they don't, maybe a lot of them haven't yet met you, because meeting is even more special. So like, yeah, you're like really a special one, I just want to say. So I just loved it, and we're going to be doing more stuff, because I'm like, as friends, forget content, whatever, but like I'm like, you're in my life now. Like,
amazing.
we are.
Oh, thank you
you
so
Honestly,
much.
I mean it.
Thank you, Akash. You're so amazing.
I mean it.
Oh, thank you. Guys, we will see you next time. Tell us what you want us, any content you want us to make for you in the future as well. Can you write it down below?
Yeah.
See you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.